Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Inner Circle. Today, I'm going to talk about three beautiful, classically sized, wonderfully proportioned dress watches from Germany. I think these offer relative value propositions, not because they're necessarily cheap, they're all 10K plus in US dollars, but because at that price point, they bring elements of handwork, of artisan crafts that you can hardly find in a lot of mainstream elite high horology brands or high level boutique independent makers without going into that territory of $75,000 or even already six digits for a single watch. We are starting with what is most accessible at the price point, but what is also in so many ways one of the most promising. Stefan Kudoke is an independent watchmaker from Germany, and he made history with this watch in 2019 when he became the first independent German watchmaker to win an award at the GPHG. He was awarded the Petite Aiguille for a watch priced between, I believe, 3,500 to 10,000 Swiss francs, specifically with this watch, which is the K2 or K2, 39 millimeters in diameter and 10.7 millimeters in thickness. This piece is in stainless steel and abides by those classically established proportions of a dress watch, even if as it veers into the contemporary territory as well. It has a caliber that is at once very inventive and quite traditional. The base and its origin is actually quite similar to what Richard Habling does in Habling 2. So the origins of this caliber, very surprisingly, lie in the self-winding chronograph movement Valjoux 7750, which in fact Kudoke produces to his own standards from ground up, and that actually becomes an in-house caliber, caliber 1 here, with the day and night indicator, with the 24-hour indicator at 12 o'clock, which we will get back to. This is now a hand wound two-hander movement with a 46-hour power reserve that beats at 4 hertz. And it's hand finished with a 3/4 plate that is very much a signature of Saxonian watchmaking. But here there's a gilt frosted finish on that 3/4 plate, which harkens back to perhaps classic English pocket watches more than anything else. And it has the movement has a hand engraved balance cock that literally puts the cock in the balance cock, as you can see from this rather phallic construction of the movement, which I believe is not a coincidence, but we'll let that pass. I also love the onion crown, which is a very nice detail and gives the timepiece a slight element of sportiness, this sort of tool-like vibe, even though it is otherwise very much a classic dress piece that has certain modern touches. Now we come to this beautiful elements of the white dial at the center with a rhodium plated ring for the hour and minute track, which is relatively unadorned except for the three Roman numerals at the three quarters, 3, 6, and 9. At 12 o'clock, you have a 24-hour indicator, which is actually hand engraved, and it is electroplated in gold for the day half and also in white and black rhodium for the day. As you can see, the day part actually has a gilt arrow detail which shows the hour in the 24-hour scale. And of course, whatever is in the upper part of that rotating disc happens to be the time of the day, if you couldn't actually look out of the window, of course, or upwards to the sky. Joking aside, the handset is also quite beautiful. Heat blued stainless steel with Kudoke's own infinity symbol at the tip of the hour hand. And the minute hand itself is a lovely twisted shape. The winner of the Petite Aiguille prize at the GPHG in 2019. This is the Kudoke K2 in stainless steel with the hand engraved rotating disc for a 24-hour day and night indicator. This particular example is new with the original box and papers. It is listed by a professional dealer from Malaysia at Chrono 24 at the fixed price of 11,000 US dollars. Now, from the environs of Dresden, from the state of Saxony, we are going to the southwest of Germany, to Pforzheim, which has been an important hub for German jewelry and watchmaking for quite some time. Pforzheim itself is quite close to the French border and is an entry point to the Black Forest. And it is in the state of Baden-Württemberg, which also borders Switzerland. So it shouldn't really strike you as a big surprise that Pforzheim has been at the center of German watchmaking, if in a different way than Dresden and its environs, like the town of Glashütte. Now, Benzinger, Johann Benzinger, is actually a master in the art of engine turning in guillochage, and he's someone who has honed this craft in decorating those famous Fabergé eggs in that manner. He has in the past collaborated with Kai Jaeger for Jaeger Benzinger. So if you're looking for something that still has elements of Benzinger's art at a more accessible price point, you can chase after those watches. They're usually built on new old stock, oftentimes pocket watch movements that are adapted to wristwatches. Beautiful designs, classic dress watches, wonderfully decorated, um, both on the dial side and the movement side. Maybe another day I will make a focus for the inner circle on those watches, but let's focus on Benzinger's GAP 1, which stands for the German Austrian Partnership, since the movement of this particular piece is exclusively conceived, designed, and made by Happening 2 for this Benzinger watch. Hence, German Austrian partnership. I chose this particular piece because of a very specific reason. When Benzinger first came out with this watch, he was blamed of copying George Daniels's anniversary design. This is the original release. Let me just circle back to that. Changed very quickly. This is the original design, which, of course, very strongly resembles the famous George Daniels anniversary watch. Of course, there are distinct differences, but the styling is so similar that the switcheroo between uh, the subsidiary dial for the seconds and the pointer date and the absence of a power reserve indicator hardly excuses it. So I chose a design from this series that has so many different and kind of a youthful and sporty interpretation and so many different accents that I think distinguishes it more strongly. This is a kind of stock model or design, but every single watch they make in this series, and in fact, every single watch that Benzinger ever makes is made from scratch, is made to order. So you can actually ask for all sorts of personalizing details. For example, here the entire dial, even though it is divided to separate designs, is decorated by the same guilloche motif. You might say, hey, I would actually like um, a different sort of guilloche motif for the subsidiary dials and a distinct one for each. You know, I want a classic wave-like motif for the subsidiary seconds dial, and I want like a barley corn pattern for the pointer date. You can do that. If you want to go with perhaps rhodium plated hands instead of this pink gilt set, you can do that. So the opportunities and options are endless. That's why you have this term unicate in the back of the watch, framing the movements. They always make unique pieces. And as you can see, the movement itself is open worked and engraved beautifully with heat blued parts. It's hand engraved movements with a full 2 day power reserve. It beats at 4 hertz, 28,800 vibrations per hour. And as you can see, cuts a beautiful figure on the back. The watch, again, especially in this particular design, has elements of sportiness, of a certain dynamism, and fulfills the requirements of an everyday watch, I think, wonderfully, because it also has a 10 bar, 100 meters of water resistance. So it's a little more than splash proof, which most stress watches are, rated as they are for 3 bars, usually 30 meters in terms of the depth rating. "39 millimeters in diameter and with a thickness of 11.5 millimeters. Again, it's quite wearable, whether you want to go for a relaxed, dynamic look or a more office or happy hour ready aesthetic. And actually, you have pushers there that allow for the quick correction of the dates. Very cool detail. I love the angular design on the lugs. It actually strikes me as a very masculine and charismatic watch. So very wearable, very modern, and entirely customizable. Here, it's listed by a professional dealer out of Germany, which really is a selling arm of Benzinga itself anyway. So you might as well contact them directly. And I think the price points, at least the base price, is a little more reasonable when you do it that way. And you have the ability to modify the piece to no end, including, I believe, a plate on the movement which would carry your name or a particular kind of phrase if you would like to. So again, the customization options are endless. The price point is, I believe, even with those customizations, right under $15,000 as it is here. And you get a watch that is really unique and that has an identifiable aesthetic and a very, very beautiful element of handwork. Again, just like Kudoke, that you don't really find elsewhere at this price point. Finally, we are looking at a more usual suspects, Glashütte Original, a brand that has a very similar history to A. Lange und Söhne in that their origins date back to the mid 19th century, but they are reorganized after the German reunification, coming back strong in 1994. And they actually had a lot of bomb releases between 1994 and year 2000, which is when they were acquired by the Swatch Group. This is one such piece. It belongs to their 1845 series, the classic dress watch at 39 millimeters. Here in a 39 millimeter 18 karat pink gold case, which is also 11.5 millimeters thick. So, very wearable dress watch indeed. This represents their collaboration with Meissen, a traditional porcelain maker from the same state, from Saxony, whose history stretches back more than 3 centuries and whose trademark is presented here at 6 o'clock with the hand painted cross swords in blue. And once again, the rest of the miniature painting, which depicts in miniature the Asian, the Chinese origins of the porcelain making art. I also love this pink gold chapter ring that has that beaded track for the hour and minutes, a bigger one uh, for every fifth dot, and skeletonized sword hands so that your view of this miniature work of art is not impeded. Fluted bezel and a small onion shaped crown. Again, very classic dress watch, one of only 150 pieces, 5 Atmos, 50 meters of water resistance, which is very respectable. A matching tang buckle in 18 karat pink gold. The movement is a hand wound caliber, and it has 46 hours of power reserve at full crank. It is actually very nicely decorated, even though you don't get a nice picture of it here. This particular example is presented with its original box, accessories that include a loop and the accompanying documents. This is the Glashütte Original 1845 with a Meissen porcelain dial, one of only 150 in a 39 millimeter 18 karat pink gold case, listed by a professional dealer in Germany for 16,859 in US dollars. The seller remains open to negotiation, so feel free to send them an offer that doesn't stretch your budget. These are the 3 watches that I shared with you today, examples of German Handwerkskunst, works of art in miniature, timepieces that bring unique elements of artisanal craft and handwork at this price point. My pick of the litter is the Benzinga Gap 1 in deep blue. Let me know what you think. Please don't hesitate to send me any questions about these particular listings, about these three brands, or anything related to German made watches, or any watch related questions whatsoever. Just send me a message on Patreon. You can reach out to me on Instagram as well at young.brando. And hey, you can always write to me via email. And that address is Lord Hellespont V at gmail.com, Lord Hellespont V at gmail.com. Thank you so much for your support. I can't wait to see you again soon on a live stream. Until then, I bid you adieu.